Well, it happened again. Uh, this is going to be a shorter episode for sure. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Do or die, the Braves died and didn't really ever look like they had a chance, except for maybe 5 minutes when Austin Riley hit a go-ahead homer in the third inning. Um, there are a lot of different takes you can take. Um, Spencer Strider needed to be perfect, and he wasn't. He had a lot of traffic on all game. I probably wouldn't have sent him back out for the sixth inning. But, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because the Braves, again, only scored one run. Unbelievable. This offense was historic, and the Phillies just own them. Like, there aren't a lot of plays that you can go back to, a lot of terrible missed calls by the umpire that you can go back to. There's really nothing you can do. There's no deflecting. The Braves were completely outplayed by the Phillies this series. If you had asked a casual fan who, is only watching this series and knows nothing else about baseball, which team had tied the record for most home runs in a single season, 99% of them would say the Phillies, because the Phillies hit so many bombs. Nick Castellanos, again, 2 home runs tonight. Trey Turner, another home run tonight. This is after the Phillies hit 6 home runs yesterday. Strider, he was fine. Like, it's tough putting a pitcher who has watched their offense fall flat and is watching their offense fall flat again. And he only allowed 3 runs. It could have been a lot worse with the amount of traffic that was on the base paths. You just got to go back to the fact that the team only scored 1 run, and every time there looked like there would be a chance, the offense just took it away. The best at bat with a chance were those 3 walks in the 7th inning where the Phillies had to bring in Kimbrel. And Ronnie, to his credit, he put up a good at bat. If he had pulled the ball down the line, if he had hit it just a couple miles an hour harder, we're talking about a Fried versus Wheeler showdown in Atlanta. Unfortunately, Rojas made that catch look a lot harder than it should have been, but he made the catch with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and ended that threat. And then in the 9th, 1st and 3rd, no outs. Rob Thompson brings in Strom. Pilar swings at a terrible pitch and then swings at another terrible pitch and pops it out. Eddie Rosario swings at a first pitch and hits a weak liner. And, Vaughn Grissom, he did strike out to end the game, but, Strom was hitting the corners, and there's only so much you can do. Definitely a disappointing ending to a season that I really thought we were going to go far. I told myself in 2021 when the Braves won the World Series, it was the first World Series in my lifetime, that I wouldn't be disappointed for, another half decade. I'm 26. I've been a Braves fan since 2003. I watched the great 2003 team lose to the Cubs as a child. I watched them lose to the Astros 2 years in a row in the DS. I didn't see them advance in the playoffs until 2020. So I've watched this Braves brand of baseball a lot. An excellent regular season, nothing to show in the postseason. And I thought this team was going to be different. I thought this team was going to be slump-proof. I was wrong. I thought they had the enough to go the distance. And they didn't. And I am disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed for the offseason. The Phillies, this is not to discount the Phillies. And Phillies fans have been flooding to the comments just to pick on people who are Braves fans. I don't know. I don't blame them. You could troll better, if I'm going to be honest. Like, you guys are too kind, which is not your stereotype. But yeah, the Phillies are a good team. They're a really solid team. They came in with a really solid plan. Rob Thompson outmanaged Snicker. Their offense smashed. And there's not a lot I can go back and say, well, if the Braves had done, if the Braves had taken Bryce Elder out before he faced Harper, maybe we take a 2-1 lead, but then where's the offense? 2 runs yesterday, 1 run today, 0 runs in game 1, 5 runs in game 2. If anything, the Braves should be happy that they won a game because they played like the much worse team. As far as next year, this is going to be the same team. You've got Darno and Murphy locked in at catcher. You've got Olsen locked in at first base. You've got Albies at second. You've got Riley at third. You've got Harrison center. You've got Acuna in right. Eddie Rosario has an option. It's like $9 million. I expect that to get picked up. We're losing Pilar. You can question whether Orlando Arcia is deserving of another starting spot. During the regular season, he was fine. He was an all-star. He really fell off in the second half. And his on-field personality tonight was embarrassing for Braves fans and the Braves in general. I'm not going to edit this really, so you can look it up if you haven't seen it already. But he was, mouthing off with the Phillies fans, and that's just something you can't do. Yeah. So it was a great season. It was a great regular season. There was a lot of fun, and you had one player in your offense show up. You had the major league leaders in home runs. Didn't hit a home run. Olsen, Acuna, and Ozuna had no home runs. Acuna was the only guy who had got an extra base hit at all. And if you did like a star for star showdown, Bryce Harper ran circles around Acuna. I don't like pinning the blame on one player, and I'm not pinning the blame on Acuna, but stars got to step up. The Braves could have won this without Acuna. They really could have. They could have won it without Acuna and Olsen hitting, but they couldn't. They couldn't win this series without Acuna, Albies, Olsen, Murphy, Ozuna, Arcia, Michael Harris, Kevin Pillar, and Eddie Rosario hitting. It was impossible. For the Braves to have won this series, their starting rotation would have had to have been flawless. And they were okay, but they were not flawless. And so it's happened again. The Braves lose to the Phillies in Philadelphia, 3-1 in the NLDS. I hope it's a fun NLCS. The Phillies are a great team. The Diamondbacks are a fun team. Personally, just can't pull for the Phillies. So, I wish the Phillies the best. You guys are great. And Braves fans will move on to next year.